what was the first martial arts gym that you went to at that time that you ended up going over to?
Originally, it was MMA Den, which is in Battersea. That was with a friend who lived around there, and then from there it went to Lions Pride.
Yeah.
So MMA Den was like this gym that I went to taste MMA, like be on the mat for the first time, go on, do a jiu-jitsu session, get destroyed, and understand, you know, what the situation is here. And then I went to Lions Pride to really get the, you know, the violence put into me, you know, get beaten. You know what I mean?
Did you catch the bug like straight away, or was it one? Yeah.
Yeah, because once you start realizing like you can take a smack and you're not going to just be destroyed, you can actually be. You're not as vulnerable as you think you are, and you actually just, you know, realize, you know, it literally is a currency in its own form. Being able to fight, it's just got its own thing, and there's nothing else I'd rather do with my time than get better at that thing.
So when you joined Lions Den, so that was Jimi Manuwa's gym. What was that like walking? Was he still UCMMA around that time, or was he?
He was UFC. He was literally just about. He had just fought Rumble. He just fought Rumble on the UFC 191 card, and I just rolled in basically like the week before that.
Wow.
So yeah, he was fighting the highest level guys in the world, and he was established. He was a top 10 guy. You know, Lions Pride was a really, really good gym back then. It had so many killers. Ben Manuwa, Sam Walker. I mean, you even have Andrew Tate showing up at that gym. You know, it was it was a crazy gym that had loads of people, so many people. You could go on for days. And yeah, if it was still going on today, that gym would be unstoppable. But unfortunately, disbanded.
Yeah. Who was like your main coach there? Was it Jimi, or was
he was obviously focusing on his career a lot? I ended up going to a jiu-jitsu school, MMA gym as well, but primarily good at jiu-jitsu. Nova Forca in Epsom. Yeah. Ricardo da Silva, a very, very good jiu-jitsu fighter. He was like my jiu-jitsu / MMA coach with a guy called Theo Theodulu. He was like the Muay Thai guy there. And then I started training with Dino Maringu, who was Jimmy's other coach, who trained and resided at Keddles, which is now moved, but it was originally a different gym in Orpington.
Yeah. So, because Jimi did a lot of I remember when he was coming up with UCMMA, you know, the pre-fight interviews, he was always kind of repping Nova Forca at that time. So he was the one that got you in over there?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. He said that's the place to go to get good at jiu-jitsu or whatnot. And it really did help my jiu-jitsu, you know, very, very good grappler in Ricardo da Silva.
I was about to ask you, so what was it like training like the ground game with Ricardo? Because when we look at your early career, there's like submissions all over.
Non-stop.
Yeah.
Until we got to Cage Warriors and we got some really hard fights. It got a bit harder to get the submissions. No, but yeah, really, really good jiu-jitsu fighter, has an amazing school. And yeah, I learned the fundamentals. I learned a lot of skills that I still use today. Yeah. And it was where I really got the basics drilled into me. And very, very good jiu-jitsu fighter for sure, Ricardo da Silva, very good.
So with the beginning of like your amateur career, a lot of the fights especially the early fights, they take place under the Fusion banner. Yeah. And Fusion was Ricardo's. That was like your home show, right? So what was that like? So at that time, Bernice Aldis, Diego Barboza, these guys I imagine you're training with them at that time at Nova Forca, and then you got the home show with Fusion. Yeah. What was that like competing on that? Because it's like basically your home crowd, your home show.
It was cool. It was, I mean, obviously, you know, it's a good advantage when you have the matchmaker as a coach. But I also had some hard fights on Fusion. I had a guy called Astidja Solinsky. You can look that up. That was like war. But Fusion was a good show to just get in there and taste the feeling of putting your feet on the canvas and the whole walkout and just the vibe of being in the changing rooms before a fight. So it was a great experience. It got me indoctrinated into the sport.